Here are the contents that we're going to talk in our topic. First, modern view of the universe. Second, properties of light and matter. Third, patterns in the night sky. And the last one, reading from the star map. Before we proceed to the first content, first I would like to tell you about the introduction of our topic. Our topic is about the key terms of astronomy. So what is astronomy? Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond Earth's atmosphere. That include objects that we can see with our naked eyes, like the sun, the moon, the planets and the stars. It also includes objects we can only see with telescopes or other scientist instruments like faraway galaxies and tiny particles. And it even includes questions about things we can't see at all, like dark matter and dark energy. Dark matter is that doesn't give off light like a galaxy or absorb light like a black hole. Scientists knew it exists because it has a gravitational pull just like normal matter. Dark energy is a mysterious pressure working in opposition to gravity and pushing matter apart. Astronomy can be divided by 4 subfields: astrophysics, astrometric, astrogeology, and astrobiology. So next, I will pass to the second presenter.
Assalamualaikum everyone. So today I'm going to explain about modern of the universe. First of all, my name is MAHIRAH RAZAK. My metric number is 2021 410594. So we go to the next slide. Big Bang Theory. Today I'm going to explain about the Big Bang Theory. So before any planets or galaxy were created, the universe was an extremely dense blob. It consisted of every single atom, proton and electron, and scientists refer to this as the singularity. Around 30 billion years ago, something caused this singularity to explode, blowing dust, debris and gases all throughout space. In one section space, this explosion created a giant spinning cloud, which is over time turned into a giant spinning flat disk. This is the start of the creation of our solar system about 4.6 billion years ago. In the center of this disk, the remaining gases not casted out and came together and became so hot and dense that they created sun. Over time, the outcasted dust and debris came together, created our planets. So, how did we come to be? First, universe start with the Big Bang phenomenon, and then explode became Milky Way galaxy, which is stars and are born and die in galaxies, and then stars produce elements heavier than hydrogen and helium through fusion, and heavier elements are scattered when stars die. Lastly, our planets are made from the elements produced by the stars. Okay, so in the previous slide, I mentioned about the Milky Way galaxy. So in this slide, I will explain what is Milky Way galaxy. Milky Way galaxy is actually a spiral system consisting of several 100 billion stars, one of which is the Sun. It takes its name from the Milky Way, the irregular luminous band of stars and gas clouds that stretch across the sky as seen from Earth. Although Earth lies well within the Milky Way galaxy, sometimes simply called the galaxy, astronomers do not have as complete understanding of its nature as they do of some external star system. A thick layer of interstellar dust obscures much of the galaxy from scrutiny by optical telescope, and astronomers can determine its large-scale structure only with the aid of radio and infrared telescopes, which can detect the forms of radiation that penetrate the obscuring matters. What is our place in the universe? Our place in the universe, in the galaxy. We live in the Milky Way galaxy. The following two artists' drawing of the Milky Way galaxy show how our galaxy would look if viewed edge on and face on. There are about 250 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, in my last slide, it's about can we see the entire universe? As you all can see in the picture, we see this galaxy as it was 7 billion years ago, when the universe was only about half its current age. We see this galaxy as it was 12 billion years ago. So if the universe is 40 billion years old today, we are seeing this galaxy as it looked when the universe was only 2 billion years old. So light from this distance show us how the universe looked very shortly after the Big Bang phenomenon. In the universe is 40 billion years old, and we try to look to a distance of say 15 billion light years. We are trying to look to a time before the universe existed, which means we cannot see anything at this distance, even in principle.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is IZYAN HAYATI binti YAHYA. Thank you to MAHIRAH, and let's move to the next topic, which is properties of light and matter. First is, how do we experience light? We experience light with the warmth of sunlight tells us that light is a form of energy. Other than that, we can measure the flow of energy in light in units of watts. 1 watt equal to 1 joule per second. Lights also come in many colors that combine to form white light. There are some interactions between light and matter. First is transmission. Transmission is transparent objects transmit light. For example, passes through matter such as window. Second is emission, which is matter can emit light. For example, the stove element in the kitchen, the metal filament in a light bulb, and even the sun. Third is absorption, which is matter can absorb light and transfer light energy to matter. Lastly is reflection. Light can bounce off matter and change light. For example, like a ball bouncing off ground. Next is properties of light. Lights can act either like a wave or a particle. Then we move to waves and particles of light. Wave is a pattern of motion that can carry energy without carrying matter along with it. There are two properties of waves. First is wavelength means the distance between two wave peaks, and frequency is the number of times per second that a wave vibrates up and down. Next is particle of light. Particles of light are called photons. Each photon has a wavelength and frequency. The energy of photon depends on its frequency. We move to the electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic waves typically described by the following three physical properties such as frequency, wavelength, or intensity. The electromagnetic spectrum divided into 7 regions in order of decreasing wavelength and increasing energy and frequency are radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-rays, and gamma rays. Electromagnetic spectrum can be detected by human eye is called visible light. The visible spectrum, which is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Next, we will learn about properties of matter. First are the phases of matter. Matter is what the universe is made up of. As we can see in the picture here, it has three phases of matter. We have solid ice, so that be water in a solid form. Next is liquid water, and we also have gas that going to be a lot of water expanded in the air. So this is what universe is made up of. What is matter? Matter is anything that has mass or anything that takes up space, even though the mass or anything that takes up space is really tiny. As long as it has some of mass or takes up spaces, it is classified as matter. But what is the matter up of? As you can see in this picture, we will start with matter. For example, the red block is the matter, which is an object. So we can clearly see the matter, right? But what you can't clearly see in this picture is atom. Atoms is what makes up the matter. Atoms is the smallest unit of matter, and it sticks a bunch of atoms together, and that is how we get things like the red block. However, atoms are not the smallest thing that exists in our universe, even though we consider the atom is the building block of matter, but there are very small things that make up atom, which is protons, electrons, and neutrons. And lastly, we move to the energy stored in atoms. Did you know an atom have energies? When we talk about the energy of atom, we will be thinking in the internal energy, which is energy of motion and position of the particles that make the body, such as the sum of the kinetic energy of the particles inside the balls. I think that's all from me, and we will move to the next presenter.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is CTU500 binti ROSLI. Next, I will talk about pattern in the night sky. The pattern of stars seen in the skies are usually called constellation. Astronomers use the term constellation to refer to an area of the skies. Allah said in Quran, "In that we have placed constellation in the skies and adorned it for all to see." The International Astronomical Union divide the skies into 88 official constellations with exact boundaries, so that every place in the skies belong within a constellation. Historically, people formed this star pattern using their imagination to link up the star in the sky like connect the dot puzzle. Different cultures link up the star in different way. For instance, ancient Greek astronomers thought that the star that make up the constellation Orion depicted a great hunter, and constellation Scorpion because it is shaped like a scorpion. So, why constellation important in our daily life? First, with the constellation, we can determine the season based on the emergence of constellation, like constellation of Aries, showing the spring is coming, Libra for season summer, Cancer for season autumn, and Capricornus for season winter. Next, constellation can showing direction for traveler. For instance, this crux constellation is pointing south. The yellow line show the illustration of the crux constellation, while the red line indicate the constellation providing guidance toward the south, and Big Dipper constellation pointing to north. One of the important elements for determining the direction is the star Polaris, like you all can see, blue arrow line, and two stars in the constellation Big Dipper parallel to the line of the blue arrow will help show the direction of the Polaris star. And once we find the Polaris star, we will know that is the north direction. Last but not least, constellation also can give direction for Qibla. Among the constellation that give direct close toward the Qibla is the constellation Orion, which is also known as the constellation Al-Badabur or Blantic. This constellation is easy to detect because it consists of three bright stars with parallel position, namely Al-Nitaq, Al-Nilam, and Mintaka, and surrounded by several other bright stars. The direction of the Qibla for the people of Malaysia and the surrounding country can be determined by projecting all three stars toward west. Constellation Orion was in the Malaysian sky at dawn in July and looked high in the sky at midnight on December. In March, this constellation was in the middle of the skies in Morocco time. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is NABILAH binti AZMAN and I will continue the presentation under my topic, which is reading from star map. Star map is essentially a map of the night sky. A star map, also known as a star chart or sky map. Astronomers divide this into grids to make them easier to use. Star map used to identify and locate constellations as well as astronomical objects like stars, nebula, and galaxies. They have been used for human navigation since the beginning of time. With our naked eyes, we can see over 6,000 stars, 88 constellations, dozens of faint fuzzies, 5 planets, 1 moon, and much more. At first glance, a star map may appear to be a bewildering array of dots, shapes, and lines. But if you remember a few simple things, everything will begin to make sense. Before we get into the details of reading charts, let's explore about a few simple things. First, big dots and small dots. On star maps, stars are symbolized by dots. To show the brightness of stars, most star maps use dots of varying sizes. The largest dots are the very brightest stars, which are visible no matter how bad the light pollution is. The smallest dots are the faintest stars visible from a rural sky without straining our eyes too much. Some star maps apply a much broader range of dot sizes to show very faint stars that can only be seen under ideal conditions or with binoculars or a telescope. Next, double stars. They are also called as a multiple stars. Some multiples, such as Mizar and Alcor in the Big Dipper's handle, are two stars that are far enough apart that we can mark them both on the star map without using the special symbol. Then, variable stars is stars that change brightness are sometimes marked by a dot within a circle. The size of the circle shows how bright the star gets, while the size of the dot shows how faint it gets. Consider these marks with the inner black dot expanding and contracting in size, sometimes filling the entire circle and sometimes fading to the size of the small inner dot. After that, declination tells us how far a star is from the celestial equator and is measured in degrees, just like latitude on Earth tells us how far we are from the Earth's equator and is measured in degrees. Next, right ascension or RA is measured as the angular distance along the celestial equator from the first point of Aries, a position on the celestial equator in the constellation of Pisces. Rather than measure this angle in degrees, RA is measured in hours, minutes, and seconds, so that the whole circle around the Earth is 24 hours. Okay, let's continue to reading of star map. It's helpful to think of the sky as a dome that surrounds the Earth and contains stars and planets. This little dome turns so that the stars seem to rise in the east and set in the west. Since the sky is above our heads, our star chart is meant to be read while holding it overhead. The zenith, which is located in the center of the chart, is the point directly overhead. The horizon is represented by the outer edge of a circular map. The map's direction. Charts can be obtained for the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Wherever you are, the chart is read in the same way. To use the map, make sure you are facing the right direction. Turn the map in your hands such that N on the map is oriented towards the north. You will see that east and west in the map are the exact opposite of what we have here on Earth, which is because Earth maps are designed to be put on the ground, whereas your star chart is to be held up in the sky. Next, practical application of star map. First, start your search with the Big Dipper, which is a group of 7 bright stars in the constellation Ursa Major. Once you locate it in the night sky, try finding it on a star chart. When you have found it, orientate the chart so that it matches your view of the night sky. From there, the Big Dipper can be used as your anchor to come back to if you get lost. And it's a great jumping off point to see other stars. Last but not least, the chart only shows objects visible to the naked eye. So if you live in an area with a lot of light pollution, you might not be able to see everything on it. Only use a red flashlight so that you not ruin your night vision and you can see the sky chart effectively. That's all from me. Thank you.
The conclusions. First content, modern view of the universe. The prevailing model for the evolution of the universe is the Big Bang theory. When it remaining gases, it creates sun, and the outcast dust and debris, it will create planets. Milky Way galaxy. Milky Way is the galaxy that includes our solar system. A hazy band of light seen in the night sky formed from stars that we cannot see it with our naked eyes. Second, content properties of light matter. Light can be a wave and particles. Matter, it can be solid, liquid and gas. Light and matter can be interact in transmission, emission, absorption and reflection. Pattern in the night sky, or we can call it constellations, which is groups of stars that form certain pattern such as animals or objects. And the last, reading from star map or star chart or sky map. It helps to learn the constellation and the stars and find fuzzies within them. I will end our presentation with one of ayat Al-Quran from Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 117. A'udzubillahi minasyaitanir rajim. Badi'us samawati wal ard wa idza qada amran fa innama yaqulu lahu kun fayakun. Means he is the originator of the heavens and the earth. When he decrees a matter, he simply tells it be, and it is. That's all. Thank you.